on billionaires in this country to, ooh, you like, what is it? What do you say, 25%? Which again is like a
21.
week of, 21%, which is like a week of earnings, on all their dividends. Like they'll be fine. Like that, even that feels like a threat to the status quo and to money. So Biden, as much as I disagree with him on so many policy issues, on labor stuff, on moving the dial a little bit more in favor to working people, he is running to the left of where centrists and corporatists would like him to be. And that is the Biden that we need to see more of in the coming months and years.
Agreed. Okay, everybody, that is unfortunately all the time we have for the full show, but you might be thinking, hey, it's Monday. Don't you release bonus content for the YouTube members? And in fact, we do. If you're a tier 2 or tier 3 member, we're taking a bit of a break from the top 10 list, so we're just doing extra bonus content. So today, Francesca and I are gonna be having a conversation about Biden's attempt to rebrand. We've sort of alluded to some of that. He's got a new ad out. It's a little bit self-deprecating and it makes some bold claims about him and his administration on a variety of different topics. We're gonna be weighing the evidence and talking a little bit about how we think this will shake out in the election. So that'll be going out later on today to our tier 2 and tier 3 members. So definitely sign up if you haven't already, and you get access to that, as well as years worth of bonus content. You get all of it when you sign up, by the way, and it's a lot of fun. Thank you, Francesca.
Thank you.
Again, you
tune in to the Bituation Room tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and also Sunday in Sacramento.
100%. Yes, it's a punch to your comedy sack. I think that's how they're advertising the show. And for now, though, stay safe out there, stay sane out there, and we'll see you soon.
welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Richey. We got a lot on the agenda today, breaking down news of the day, none other than the mayor of Enfield, North Carolina, Mayor Mondale Robinson. Always fascinating to have his analysis. Top story of the day, Karen on Karen, Karenicity. This is a sign, ladies and gentlemen, of the end of the world. I'm sure this is somewhere in the book of Revelations. So here is one Karen named Megyn Kelly talking about another Karen who is parading as a US Senator out of Alabama. Here it is.
The Republicans had an opportunity here to put their best foot forward and just sound normal. That's it. Don't shout, say normal things, and speak to regular Americans about what's real. And they blew it, as they do almost all the time in these State of the Union responses. They put up rising star in the Republican Party, Katie Britt, who is a senator from the state of Alabama and a Republican, as I said. And I don't know what the F I saw. I agree with the people saying she looked like she was auditioning for a show on Lifetime. The drama, the fake affectation, the over-the-top portrayal of emotions I did not believe she was feeling at all. Her inauthenticity, it was totally cringe, as the kids would say. Sorry, this is how I saw it. You tell me whether you disagree.
Okay, before I go to the next video, first of all, Megyn Kelly, you are Karen yourself. But it's almost as if Megyn Kelly is saying, now damn it, there's only room for one Karen in this party, and it's not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now here's the thing. Did you hear what she said? She said the Republican Party had an opportunity to look normal, to say things that made sense. Wait a minute, Megyn. That would suggest that the Republican Party is abnormal, that they say things that do not make sense. Correct? There's more.
I never could have imagined what my story would entail. To think about what the American dream can do across just one generation, in just one lifetime. It's truly breathtaking. But right now, the American dream has turned into a nightmare. Our country can do better. And you don't have to look any further than the crisis at our southern border to see it. President Biden inherited the most secure border of all time. He invited it with 94 executive actions in his first 100 days.
Okay. She embarrassed herself. She embarrassed the Republicans, and she embarrassed women. It was a disgrace. I was horrified by her performance, and I really think that it's going to take her years to rebound from that performance.
Megyn Kelly, I think you embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed Fox News, and you embarrassed women. Here it is.
When I saw this headline, I kind of laughed and I said, oh, this is so ridiculous. Yet another person claiming it's racist to have a white Santa, you know? And by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white, but this person is just arguing that maybe we should also have a black Santa. Just because it makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean it has to change. You know, I mean, Jesus was a white man too, but you know, it's like, he was a historical figure. I mean, that's a verifiable fact, as is Santa. I just want the kids watching to know that.
She just wanted the kids watching to know that Jesus is white and the Santa Claus, popularized by Coca-Cola, is white as well. Her show at that time came on at 10 p.m. at night. What kid is up watching a damn Megyn Kelly news show who still believes in Santa Claus and needs to be reaffirmed that don't worry, Santa Claus is in fact white. Now, factually, this is inaccurate. Santa Claus, the version that we see, naturally popularized by an artist and then purchased by Coca-Cola. The original character that it was based on was a person of color who gave out toys to children during the winter months. Jesus, well, that's quite clear. He was not a white male. Put up the picture full mass. Interesting. Sadly to say, Sirius XM host. I work for Sirius XM. These are unfortunate times when I have to go against the network I'm on. But Sirius XM host Megyn Kelly went hard after Senator Katie Britt, Republican out of Alabama, during her viral kitchen-bound speech following the State of the Union speech. Now, she definitely gave some improper and false information during that speech, but her content paled in comparison to her delivery, calling it totally cringe, according to Megyn Kelly, and worse. President Joe Biden's State of the Union speech was followed by Britt's widely criticized response that drew crude comparisons to scholastic drama programs that did not deserve the smoke. On Friday's episode of SiriusXM's The Megyn Kelly Show, Kelly decided to air her grievance. Now, Mayor Mondale, interesting note here. It was Donald Trump who came out immediately and said, that was a great speech, and gave her this remarkable vote of confidence. And on Donald Trump's own social media line, his followers were saying things like, wait a minute, Mr. President, did you hear the same speech I heard? But once again, the gaslighting continues. Thoughts? You on mute, brother.
Let's be clear, Doc. Thank you so much for correcting that. Anybody that goes against Joe Biden or Donald Trump's enemy are amazing, are great, are large, are big. We know Trump. Trump is small in thought. But the truth of the matter is, this was the first AI response to a State of the Union.
That's what it was.
This looked like Chat GPT to me.
Yes.
But it is so rich coming from Megyn Kelly talking about the Republican Party was embarrassed. How is this the level of embarrassment, but not the senior senator from Alabama who starved or tried to starve our military for almost 6 or 7 months? How is Donald Trump not the embarrassment of the Republican Party? This party is beyond embarrassment. They are moralists. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a figurehead in this party. She's a top runner for vice president. So the idea that and it was bad. This speech was that was embarrassing the Republican Party means to me Megyn Kelly is full of snow.
There it is. All right. We will bring updates if there's an update to bring. Okay. What if I told you a man literally pulls a gun, decides to pull the trigger, killing his wife in cold blood? Okay, premeditated. He had opportunity to turn away. There was no self-defense dynamic associated. And then he basically gets a slap on the wrist for doing so, for taking another human being's life. Here it is.
You really want this on video?
I'll pull it. I'm mad enough to just pull it. Okay. All right, goodbye, Breezy. I'll see you. You gonna meet Jesus.
And then he pulled the trigger. Producers, I'm going to play that one more time. I want you to see clearly how calculating this is. There is no question. There is premeditated malice here, which is, by the way, the type of crime that garners the most severe penalty: premeditated malice, homicide. Here it is again.
You really want this on video?
I'll pull it. I'm mad enough to just pull it. Okay. All right, goodbye, Breezy. I'll see you. You gonna meet Jesus.
And then he does what he said. Put up the picture full mass. Carey Birmingham, a Texas man who shot his wife dead on camera. It was all recorded. They had all the evidence. It was discovered that she was having an affair. He only received 10 years for premeditated murder. Put up her picture as well. You see, Mr. Birmingham was sentenced earlier this week after shooting his wife, Patricia, 48 years of age. This crime actually took place in 2021. The reason why it is indisputable today is because we believe that there has been a serious miscarriage of justice here. There's an entire human being who was slaughtered, and it was premeditated. Despite all of the evidence, Mr. Birmingham will serve 10 years in prison. He will be up for parole in 5. 5 years, ladies and gentlemen, this man will likely be out. Audio obtained by ABC 13 contained multiple moments of conversation between the two, which became a large part of Birmingham's crime of passion defense. Now, remember, crime of passion means that you are, in fact, not control of your mental faculties. That's why it's an affirmative defense. The affirmative defense is it was a crime of passion, which means that you were outside of your normative thinking in such a way you could not understand right from wrong. You were in a mental capacity that warrants leniency or a not guilty. That's not what I saw there. There's more. He can be heard saying, "I am done." While Patricia hits back, "I am done too." An ending of the relationship, so to speak. With their conversation becoming more and more heated, Birmingham's defense attorney, Anthony, also said they had pleaded guilty to the all-female jury to convince jurors he had shot Patricia in the heat of the moment. Also told the outlet, quote, "We never tried to justify the actions of our client, but the defense wasn't about justification. It was about why he did what he did." What? This is a whole new defense reality, okay? So it's an all-female jury. They don't get to go to the jury. He gets to plead. He gets to say, "Hey, guilty. Let's get this great deal. 5 years for doing that." There's more. The shooting happened when their daughter, Olivia on the right, was at school with the couple having a 30-minute argument before the shooting. Speaking on her father's sentencing, daughter Olivia told the outlet, quote, "I lost both my parents that day. My dad died that day too, because the person who did that to my mom and my father are not the same person," end quote. She added, "I don't know. Sudden passion? Question mark. You have to have something. You have to have made that decision within you for a while. I feel like to do something, to do that to someone you really love." Olivia had already addressed her father in court, telling him, quote, "No matter what was said in this trial, you know what type of woman she was, and you know what you did and how he took away my favorite person in this world." Olivia also testified that she had never witnessed her father physically abuse her mother. She told ABC that she wanted to raise awareness about different types of abuse and that she would never forgive her father for what he did. Put a picture back up. You know, it's selfish as hell what he did. Because regardless of the relationship falling apart, that little girl still deserves her mother. What he did was ultimately selfish and self-seeking for his own emotional benefit. That's it. And he gets a slap on the wrist, can be out of prison in 5 years. This little girl has nobody, a father who has betrayed her to a degree that most of us can't even comprehend. Then to see her mother not get the justice that she deserves from the system that is supposed to be a system of equitable remedy. In a post to social media, Patricia's sister, Mary Dees, said, quote, "My sister was strong and would not back down or show fear to this man. The prosecutors did an outstanding job, and we were just shocked with the verdict. I believe the judge was even shocked. Justice was not given here. My sister did not deserve this. Katie Birmingham is not the victim. Mr. Birmingham is not, in fact, the victim, and I concur. So, how in the world does this happen? I'm going to tell you. Somewhere inside of the heart of humanity, there is room for revenge. And that revenge, let's call it what it is. And that revenge, that criminal act rooted in revenge, somehow gets you a lighter sentence. All right, Mondale, this is a horrible miscarriage of justice. I feel for the daughter, I feel for the family. And this man will likely be out of prison in 5 years, and he committed on camera cold-blooded, premeditated homicide. What say you?
Yeah, let me prerequisite some of the statements. We should say that, revenge, or the fear of revenge, or the thought of revenge gets you a lighter sentence if you look a certain way in this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not equally applied. We know that for a fact. Furthermore, there's so many layers that need to be unpacked in here. This daughter said something extremely detailed in her statement. I never saw my father physically abuse my mother. But then she said, I want to make people aware of the different type of abuses.
Mm-hmm.
What type of abuse did she witness from this man? Because clearly she's saying that he's done he's capable, or he's acted in a certain way that caused harm to her mom. And she wants the world to know that there may be another pathway from physical abuse to murder. It might just be other types of abuse that leads to murder as well. That was stalking and telling to me as well. Also, right now we have Black people created this thing saying, say her name, in honor of Black women that were being killed by the system. White people right now are taking it, making fun of it, playing with it. Specifically, Marjorie Taylor Greene right now talking about this young lady who was killed supposedly by, or allegedly by, a person that was in the country without papers, what they call illegal. Right now, the representative in Texas, Troy, who called Cori Bush's husband a thug, a Black man, a thug, will not say this woman's name, has not said anything about this woman. Marjorie Taylor Greene has not mentioned this woman. So what they're doing is stoking xenophobic fear. And what the world is saying is, when white men act in this manner, well, there has to be a reason. And you need to recognize that reason, because he is white man. And that's what I see in this case. That's all I see. A constant reminder that America's justice system was set up to make sure that white men were not charged or held accountable. And we see that right now. This is absolutely disgusting. 2 people, 3 people, entire families have been changed because of this man's selfishness. And he's walking out probably in a couple years.
Yeah. We shall see if there's another element of justice applied here, but don't hold your breath. All right. I didn't believe it. I thought it was a damn SNL skit. You know, the pastor that lied about his military service, being part of a fraternity and everything else? Well, he is now opening up a fake ass military academy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I want to first bring you Pastor Mark Burns, Military Academy. Here it is.
Hello, I'm Pastor Mark Burns, founder of Burns Military Christian Academy. I'm so thrilled to announce the establishment of our new institution, a beacon of hope and opportunity for our children, designed to combat the growing influence of the woke agenda in American public schools. Our mission is clear: to provide an affordable, small classroom, pro-American education with a strong emphasis on biblical teachings. Our goal is to keep our rates extremely low so that almost anyone can afford to send their child to a safe, private Christian school. We are dedicated to instilling good morals and a love for our country in our students, while ensuring that they are not exposed to a woke teachings or sexual perverted lifestyle. We're committed to providing a safe and bully-free environment, as bullying, disrespectful behavior towards parents, teachers, faculties, and fellow students will not be tolerated. Join us in our mission to protect our students from harmful influences of the woke agenda and to raise them up in a nurturing, Christ-centered environment.
This man said faculties. It's faculty. Put him up for a mass. Pro-Trump Pastor Mark Burns recently announced the creation of his own Christian military academy, citing plans to combat the LGBTQ plus teachings. Let's keep his picture up. The whole time I saw this commercial, I was thinking, somebody save the white children, please. Please rescue them from this institution. Because if you remember the Mark Burns from CNN, well, let me remind you.
You also claimed that you served 6 years in the Army Reserves. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we called the Army and they said that you had no active Army or Army Reserve service.
No, I wasn't part of the South Carolina National Guard.
Okay, I just asked you about Army Reserves. That was my question. You in this bio claimed 6 years in the Army Reserves.
It is reserves. It is the Army of South Carolina National Guard is reserves.
In a statement to CNN, the U.S. Army says Burns served in the South Carolina National Guard from 2001 to 2005, was discharged in 2008. He has no active Army or Army Reserve service time.
That interview was iconic. It also exposed that, well, he was never part of a fraternity, which is basically a sin in our community. He claimed he was. He also said that he had these degrees from an institution he never even went to at all, never heard of them. There was one that he went to for a semester. So this individual, Trump supporter, was on national news, was at Trump rallies. Trump said, that's my black supporter. And the man now is opening up a Christian academy, military school. Mayor Mondale, I think we're taking this whole notion of you can be whatever you want to be too far.
I listen, brother, the idea that lies are a part of our discourse in the point where you could just, why would you even tell a lie about being in the military as if it can't be fact?
The military, sir, and you're on CNN. Wait a minute, man. You're going on CNN, brother.
They gonna find you out.
Correct the bio before you get to the interview.
That part. I mean, that's just the level of ridiculousness. Listen, this guy supposedly has a religion of the most wokest person ever. Jesus was a bilingual Palestinian Jew of Jewish descent, born in Palestine, during a time when the Romans occupied its space. So this was an occupied bilingual man who accepted inclusivity, told anybody that had something to say to Mary, who was supposed to be a prostitute, throw a stone if you're without sin, protecting her basically, right? This is a person who spoke about the oppressed, the hungry, the alien, not like ET alien, those people that were foreign. So this idea that you are trying to start a school to be a Christian school like Christ that's anti-woke, so you're just double, it's stupid. You're talking out both sides of your face. Furthermore, I don't know what military branch, even if he was in the South Carolina National Guard, that he was supporting. They were saluting inside the buildings. They had covers on, and the covers were too big. The uniforms look more like Trump school, where he went to military school, than it did any other uniform. And I think you said something about a video game earlier.
Right, yeah, it looked like an outfit from the original Street Fighter. Okay, all right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable, stick and stay.
Indisputable, exclusive, disputable, exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
Today we're going to be speaking with Cenk Uygur, host of The Young Turks and also author of the new book, Justice is Coming.
Author of the brand new book that we have here, Justice is Coming.
How progressives are going to take over the country and America is going to love it.
His new book is out now, Justice is Coming.
Cenk Uygur.
He's got a book out.
I encourage every progressive and non-progressive to read it.
Very interesting, very thought-provoking.
2 main ideas. 1, that progressives are correct on these kind of policy issues. And 2, America is actually a very progressive country.
And it's a powerful read.
This will be banned in Florida. By the way, that would be kind of awesome. There's no question we're going to win in the long run. The country's that progressive.
You have given me hope, Cenk.
I do see you as a voice of reason on the left, and I hope people will check out your book.
It's for outsiders, and it's for progressives and populists that are looking to overthrow this system.
You need this book in your house.
They tell you that change is not possible, hope is not possible, justice is not possible. Do not believe their lies. Change always wins. And then we take off like a rocket. tyt.com/justice.
All right, welcome back. A lot of show left. Let me read some of these amazing comments. All right, so Moni P says, what a psycho, literally killed her and only gets 10 years. He's not mentally ill, just pure evil. All right, CDE 7195. He got his wrist slapped because she cheated on him. Mo Fury, not a single child of color anywhere in that ad. I guess that would be too woke. Yeah. And now Dragon, genuinely afraid for future generations. They will be as ill-equipped as us. I know. But with an even worse education, God help us. That's their plan. That's their plan. All right. And Lady F&T, thank you so much for this. She gifted a lot of indisputable memberships. Gina X-Ray Dragon was gifted. Welcome. Also Lydia Mathis, Jen Rafis, Vanessa DeFranco, Trisha Briggs, Stoned, The Bone Dragon was gifted by James Thompson. Also gifted is Swift, Georgian Johansson. Thank you for joining. Debbie E. and Derek Truss Jr. Thank you, Mr. James Thompson, for that. And Donald James X, member for 20 months, still riding the indisputable way to the land of sanity. We will eventually get there, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, I guarantee you. This is part of it, all right? Got something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off! I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
It's crazy, no matter how much you know about positive mindset, law of attraction, it doesn't matter how much you're educated on that. When you're in the moment, it's still so hard to not feel sad. I'm gonna let you guys go. I need to go be there for Christian. I just wanted to give you an update because so many of you turned on the countdown reminders for my new video today and you wanted to see our big news. Please pray for her. I know she's gonna make it through. She's an amazing, beautiful little girl, and I can't wait for her to bring her home and be part of our family. So if you could pray for us, we appreciate it. I love you guys. Bye. Come here. Come closer for the video. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. Put your head right here. Come closer. Closer down. Put your head down here. Act like you're crying. Really quick.
I am crying.
Go like this.
No, Mom, I'm actually seriously crying.
No, I know, but go like this for the video. Go like this. Put one hand up. Go like this. No, go like this. Put your hand like this. But let them see your mouth. Let them see your mouth.
No, Mom, I'm actually crying.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm actually crying.
I know. Look at me. Look at me. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over.
Oh, it's not over. You see, she made a mistake and posted the unedited video. And I have an update. This is kind of a throwback with an update for where she is today. Put up the picture full mass. I will explain what's happening here. Okay. So obviously, the child is traumatized. I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. So this is a Karen YouTuber, right? Her name is Jordan Cheyenne. She was known for posting beauty and lifestyle content with videos teaching women on how to be girl bosses and prep healthy meals for losing weight. She had actually reached a following of over 500,000 subscribers and over 130,000 followers on IG before posting that now infamous video. The video titled, "We Are Heartbroken," shows the YouTube Karen telling her 8-year-old son their dog had contracted a disease called parvo, which can cause severe illness in unvaccinated dogs. Her son is seen crying in the background as the YouTuber asks the audience to pray for them and their dog. So when she's saying she's, ready to bring the little girl home, she's talking about the dog, all right? Not a human being. After she thinks she's turned off the video, the unthinkable happens. She posted a video apologizing for her actions, saying, quote, "I want to let you know I'm so disgusted with myself for posing for a thumbnail on such an emotional video. It made me take a step back and realize I need to be way more present in the moment and not even be thinking about anything like this when things are happening in my life." So here's a snippet of the apology.
And so many of you commented about it. The first video I uploaded, I forgot to edit out my bloopers, so I edited out the ending. And so many of you said, "Girl, we already saw that. We're so disappointed in you, in the mom you are. Why would you make him pose for a thumbnail?" And my heart dropped.
I rewatched the footage and I cannot believe I rewatched it, and you guys are completely right, 100,000,000% right. And I so hope you know that I'm genuine about that, because
genuine about what? You never finished your sentence. You haven't made a statement yet. What you really want to say is that you can't believe you got caught. Your heart didn't drop because you felt bad. Your heart dropped because you know you got caught doing something you shouldn't have.
today was, I'll tell you all about the puppy another day, but we basically got a puppy. Her name is Rosie. We're hoping that she's going to make it through. She has parvo. We've been in the emergency vet clinic all day. And I was just so flustered and emotional all day, and like was trying to rush with Christian at the end. And I told him like, hey, pose for a thumbnail. Like, this is a sad video, act sad. And that's just, it's so wrong. I should have never done that. Looking back at the footage, I'm so disgusted with myself. I want to thank those of you who brought that to my attention.
If you're really that disgusted and disappointed in yourself, you should probably save all of this energy to apologize to your son. He's the one who's actually suffering from this, not random people on the internet who watch your videos. He's the one who deserves an apology of this length.
She was simply trying to tell her son, it's an emotional video, act emotional. Her son was already traumatized, okay? Because of his love for the dog. Traumatized. And the mother, not traumatized, acting traumatized, okay? She turned hers on and off. See, the child is not able to do that because the child is still an authentic being. Now, she later deleted her account, okay? Saying, quote, I want people to know that I've deleted my channel. People think I deactivated my channel, but I deleted it. I have no sponsors, no pay, no monetization. Basically, she's a victim now, okay? I've given up all of that to be behind the scenes and extremely present with my child and get us both into counseling. However, nothing lasts forever. This Karen later reactivated her YouTube account where she continues to post beauty and lifestyle videos for her followers. It's difficult to say whether she's learned anything from the experience, but at least her son doesn't seem to be a prop in any of her videos anymore. Put up a picture full mass. Karen, this is a one-time opportunity. I'm giving you and your team 24 hours to respond. I'm inviting you to the bullpen for an opportunity at redemption, madam. Okay? If you are authentic and sincere about turning your life around, because what you did was quite extreme, and I do not believe it's your first time doing it. And when you gave your speech about deleting things or being behind the scenes, well, that seemed, I guess, halfway noble. But now you're back at it. So I just want us to have a conversation, 24 hours. You do have an invite to the bullpen. Mayor Mondale, thoughts here?
I don't have much to say, Doc, except for this. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
How in the hell are you using your son in this manner? She is so tuned out, trying to fix her hair for the camera, making sure she got the right angle. This kid really is crying. The kid said, "No, mom, I'm really crying," which means, he didn't pretend cried for her before in videos. I don't understand how YouTube isn't blocking her. You don't need to delete it. The company should. You are reckless, beyond reckless, with that child's emotion. And if I was the father, you wouldn't be alone with my son.
Yeah, that is wild. We call that manipulation. It's manipulation of a minors. It's not a rare thing, unfortunately. It happens with a lot of minors. Okay, we'll bring you updates if she responds to come to the bullpen. Got something for you. Double dose.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free. Back off.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Oh, now you asked me nice when you were pushing me and yelling at me. That wasn't nice, right?
Police! Police! Help! Help!
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, right now. Example.
everything on camera. What's on camera?
Right here. Example of what they do.
We have everything on camera.
Oh, look at this guy. He's still like most of the words. Now, you raped somebody. You rapist. You rapist. Oh, really? You again. You rapist. You rapist. You are rapist. You are rapist. You are rapist.
Stop it! This is the third time he's attacked.
Let's go back. Let's go back. For your safety, let's go back. For your safety, let's go back. Go. Come on.
Put up the picture full mass. There's a protest. This protest has people who are involved who happen to be very passionate on both sides. I happen to think that those who are for the humanitarian effort and for a ceasefire are right. That is what I believe. What you saw was an individual attempting to weaponize her own cries in order to harm another person. You see, when people engage in activity like this, they don't care what happens to you next. You know, if a person hears this, they assume this woman of this age is not lying. Something must have happened to her. What are these men doing to her? Let me help her. Taking advantage and manipulating the heart of a decent person, likely. Or perhaps a law enforcement officer who may feel empowered due to the words of somebody crying wolf. These things are more than dangerous, they are life-threatening. So you highlight them in order to bring awareness so people know things like this do happen, and they happen at least semi-routinely. Mr. Mayor, dangerous situation. Somebody hears this, assumes the worst because they think a woman of this particular age, especially, is not going to lie on another human being.
Yeah, and what the sad part about it is, and she looked so comfortable in how she started screaming help, screeching for help. And the sad part about it is the people standing around watching her from the beginning of her saying help to when people started to come up knew nobody was doing anything to her. And the first thing the man said is coming in for defense is, "You're a rapist, go rape someone." This ridiculousness, this level of inhumanity and like inhumane treatment of other people who have a different point of view than you, especially when so many children in Gaza have been murdered, does not help your cause.
Right.
Does not. It cannot. People can't side with this. So many people have been lynched and are being lynched because of this behavior. And the police got over there and did exactly what she wanted. Start pushing those people aggressively. You heard someone at the end of the video saying, "Ouch, stop pushing me." So the idea that, you screaming wolf has no ramifications, it absolutely does. And people can be hurt in this country, especially people have been hurt, especially if they look like you.
That's right, dear brother. That's right. Okay, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable, stick and stay.
Now I'm going to do something very different here and read some one-star reviews of the Young Turks on Apple Podcasts. Donnie Franchise said, "Pretty much it's like listening to a trash compactor." Someone else said, "Negative, anti-American propaganda." And others said, "Out of context, misquotes, typical leftists who are afraid to debate, just smear. These two would be perfect for CNN or MSLSD." Well, Donnie, you might have a point, because I feel like a trash compactor right now after taking in all those garbage reviews. But thanks for listening anyway. We are, in fact, unapologetically progressive. And if you're not ready for bold commentary, then we're not the show for you. On the Young Turks, we speak up about the issues that matter, and we want to make positive change happen. And now here's why we actually do the show. Mariel Morales said, Found this podcast from the true crime podcast, Fruit Loops, and other great progressive podcasts. I've become an instant fan of the Young Turks. Great conversation, great takes, very well composed, factual podcast, very informative. Love to hear that. Z55 said, it's a joy to experience such awareness and intelligence from fascinating people. And Anna is gorgeous and brilliant. Apparently I'm just fascinating, but I'll take it. Paul for Progress said, news well delivered. Appreciate it. KOOK said, Democrats and Republicans are fair game for TYT, and if Anna or Cenk provide disinformation about anything, they will admit they made a mistake and correct it. We appreciate you noticing that we are honest. To people who actually listen to the substance of the show, thank you. Your listenership supports what we do. Leave a 5-star rating for the Young Turks on Apple Podcasts. Let's take the ratings back from the trolls.
Today we're going to be speaking with Cenk Uygur, host of The Young Turks and also author of the new book, Justice is Coming.
Author of the brand new book that we have here, Justice is Coming.
How progressives are going to take over the country and America is going to love it.
His new book is out now, Justice is Coming.
Cenk Uygur, he's got a book out.
I encourage every progressive and non-progressive to read it.
Very interesting, very thought-provoking.
Two main ideas. One, that progressives are correct on these kind of policy issues. And two, America is actually a very progressive country.
And it's a powerful read.
This will be banned in Florida. By the way, that would be kind of awesome.
There's no question we're going to win in the long run.
The country's that progressive?
You have given me hope, Cenk.
I do see you as a voice of reason on the left, and I hope people will check out your book.
It's for outsiders, and it's for progressives and populists that are looking to overthrow this system.
You need this book in your house.
They tell you that change is not possible, hope is not possible, justice is not possible. Do not believe their lies. Change always wins. And then we take off like a rocket. TYT.com/justice.
About the shirt you're wearing.
Pretty much speaks for itself. What's the penalty for treason? Death. Everything was phenomenal under Donald Trump, and now it's Obama calling the shots right now. It ain't Biden.
So it's Obama calling the shots?
I believe so. None of this would be happening if they hadn't stolen the 2020 election from Trump and we the people.
We've been around for about 20 years, and we have about 20 billion views. Am I proud of that? Hell yeah, I am. We put out 20 billion messages in a bottle. Have we helped to move now 2 generations, millennials and Gen Z, to become progressive? Yes, those numbers are real. We moved generations. Were we the only ones? Of course not. But we have been the largest online news show for now decades.
All right, welcome back. We got a lot of show left. Let me read some of these beautiful comments. Yeah, I agree. That Creative Dragon says, what about the trauma? F the thumbnail, apologize to your child, Karen. I can't imagine. I remember when I was a child and my dog had an illness and we had to go to the vet and I was told I wouldn't see my dog again, right? I cried for days. I was heartbroken. It was one of the most profound memories of my childhood. It's a very traumatizing experience. Hong Zhan says, how many takes did she need to make that fake ass apology? It wasn't even a real apology. It was, yeah, I agree. How many times did she do that one? Lady FT, thank you again. Ruby Frankie, all over again. Malcolm X, did she really say that? Yeah. And then, yep. David Morris, translation, I'm mortified that you caught me in my Karenicity. Look, I'm crying. Yep. Archie 15, now the first time she has done this. I concur. And Scott Smith, member for 17 months, thank you for that, says, I'm a Navy veteran, and I wanted to thank Mayor Robinson for his service. I served alongside many Marines during my career, Semper Fi. Beautiful stuff. And let's go to Twitch. Yep. Altruism _ imaginary. You are committing child exploitation of your own child. Yes, that's correct. That is highly manipulative. If somebody would do that with their own child and violate their innocence like that, rather than holding them accountable to things like right and wrong, trying to do better than others, doing right when nobody's looking, things that you teach your children, but instead you're teaching them that is horrible. Okay. Black investors blocked from purchasing in an Asian community. This has a lot of zig and zag to it. Put up the picture full mass. I'm going to take you down the rabbit hole. Houston, Texas. A federal court has dismissed a racial discrimination lawsuit filed by James Amari and Misty Amari and Rosemary Aful, not pictured, who claimed they were denied the opportunity to purchase condominiums in a new community development that catered to Asians. Now, this was filed in September 2022 by James and his wife, Misty, and Misty's sister, Rosemary. The lawsuit obtained by Atlanta Black Star alleged that Houston area realtor Josie Lynn and associate property managers, including Remax, conspired to prevent them from buying 3 new units at Grand West Condominiums in the suburb of Katy. The lawsuit said the complex promotional material hailed it as a new option for Chinese and Asian communities. The marketing brochure also touted the property as a new option for a safe and simple Asian life and plugged the trendy Asian shopping district within walking distance. Undeterred, the Black buyers still called Lynn for a meeting in which they were allegedly told that, quote, all the current owners were personal friends and knew each other, which suggested to the trio they were not welcome. In the lawsuit, they argued that the narrow focus of the marketing materials, combined with Lynn's comments, established discrimination. They argued that because plaintiffs, as investors, never made a cash offer and did not intend to live in the units, they did not meet the criteria for discrimination in the sale of rental or of a dwelling under the Fair Housing Act. So the civil action against Remax, the Remax franchise network, and others was thrown out by a U.S. district judge, David Hittner. Hittner's ruling focused more on whether the fair housing law or laws had been violated rather than on whether the Black investors had faced outright discrimination when they tried to buy property in an area of Houston that was being marketed specifically to Asian residents. The judge dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice or without the option to refile, suggesting the plaintiffs cannot appeal the ruling to a higher court based solely on the merits of the case. In his ruling, Judge Hittner decided that the plaintiffs lacked legal grounds to file the suit because they failed to establish a business relationship with Lynn in the first place, and that Lynn was never an agent acting on their behalf. This lack of connection also extended to the other defendants in the case, ultimately leading to the dismissal. Put up the judge full mass again. And I want to say this. I looked at this ruling. I looked at the summary judgment. I think with prejudice was harsh. I believe the ruling was insensitive, but with prejudice was harsh. And here's why. It does not give you an opportunity to come back and take another bite at the apple. But here's the thing. If in the future anyone is facing something like this, just to be clear about the law so that judges don't take advantage of a gray area and dismiss your claim. Establish a business relationship by making an offer. Make an offer. They can either reject it, they can accept it, or they cannot respond, which, by the way, over the course of time is a rejection. But you have established, by making an exacting offer, a business connection. And because that was not on the table, the judge utilized that gray area in order to dismiss the entire case based on the interpretation, his interpretation of the Fair Housing Act statutory language. So just know this is another trick that they utilize in their toolbox. All right, Mayor Mondale, thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct, Doc. Here's what's so scary to me. When we are not explicit in law in anything in this country, even if it was meant to protect Black people, it fails quickly at doing that. This is another case of a law that was written to prevent this very behavior. This very behavior should have been prevented by this not being able to be effectuated because, well, there's a loophole. There's always a loophole.
Yep, that's right. And listen, if he was solid on his ruling, he makes the ruling, it says, and it's without prejudice. If you feel like a judge overturned me, go for it. But no, it's not the way he filed this one. Okay, we have an exclusive update. We brought you this first. A woman harassed and arrested inside of her own home in Alabama in front of her child, illegally so. The mayor has now come out against the arrest after our reporting. Here it is.
So when y'all go over there and talk to him about his music, do y'all ask him for his ID?
Yeah, and he provides it.
No, y'all do not. I be sitting right here watching. Nobody asking for his ID.
I'm not arguing with you.
I'm not arguing with you either. I'm not giving you no. I'm going to jail.
Yes.
If I don't provide my ID?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's do it. I'm not giving you my ID.
All right, turn around, put your hands behind your back.
This is ridiculous.
Hey, turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest.
I need to put my shoes on.
I didn't ask for
Wait a minute, don't you put your hands on me like that.
Hold on.
You don't push my son.
Whoa, hold on, wait.
Not push my son.
Ma, calm down, please, everybody. Please, calm down, please. Ma, everybody, calm down,
I'm gonna give you
please.
one more chance. Somebody just call the phone and call your daddy.
Ma, please.
Why do you need my ID?
I've already explained to you. Ma, just
Why do you need my ID?
Ma, just give him your ID, Ma, please.
Why do you need my ID?
Ma, please call. No, it's okay. Ma, it's okay. Ma, it's okay. It's okay. Ma, it's okay. Ma, it's okay. It's okay, Ma, it's okay. It's okay, Ma, it's okay. It's okay, Ma, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm recording. I'm recording. I'm recording. I'm recording. I'm recording. I'm recording. I'm recording.
Why you want to rough up a female, dude?
Because you're not complying.
You need Jesus.
It's okay, Ma. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
This ain't nothing but the devil.
It's okay. It's okay.
This ain't nothing but the devil.
Put up the picture full mask. We now have a response from the mayor of that city. We brought you this first. It was an indisputable exclusive. A few days after our reporting, the mayor has come out against the arrest and has dropped all charges against Miss Twyla Stallworth. I have some other updates to report. Let's keep that picture up. I want to remind everyone that when the son walked outside with the officer while the officer was illegally arresting his mother, the son said, "Officer, if you don't mind," he was very polite. He said, "Can you let me know what she's being arrested for?" The officer basically cited that she did not produce an ID. The son said, "Well, can I see the statute where that's illegal?" The officer goes into his phone, pulls up the statute and reads it. And he reads that she did not give him her information, identify herself. The son says, "Wait a minute, that says nothing about identification. It just says she has to identify who she is, not identification." And the context of the statute was misappropriated by the officer, even if that did occur, because it does not apply to a private home. It applies to public places in Alabama. So, as we reported last Thursday, per the press release from the law offices of attorney Harry Daniels in Andalusia, Alabama, and this police department, they came under fire after attorneys for the 40-year-old Twyla Stallworth released that video of Officer Barton, Barton, shoving Miss Stallworth onto her couch, forcefully arresting her and keeping her locked up for 15 hours after she legally refused to provide ID in her own home. Legally refused. Officer Barton charged Ms. Stallworth with obstruction, resisting an officer, and attempting to elude. Insane. Mayor Earl Johnson, put him up. You got Mayor Earl Johnson on Friday released the following statement in response to the press release made by Ms. Stallworth and issued on her behalf by civil rights attorney Harry Daniels, and we were the first to report on it. Here it is.
On behalf of the city of Andalusia and the Andalusia Police Department, I would like to apologize to Ms. Twyla Stallworth for her arrest here in February. All charges against Ms. Stallworth are being dropped. The arresting officer in this case has a clean record with our department, but he made a mistake in this case on February the 23rd. He has been disciplined for failing in his duty to know the law.
Mr. Mayor, put the picture back up. You see, Mr. Mayor, this would actually fly with many if it had not been for the fact that the son posed the question to the officer, can you show me the statute? And the officer clearly read that statutorily, she does not have to present identification at all. Additionally, the mayor would disagree with the accusation of racism. Here it is.
When I learned about this incident last week, I offered to meet with Ms. Stallworth, but she declined. Ms. Stallworth has not filed a complaint against the police department, but her attorney alleges in his release that her arrest was racially motivated. We have reviewed body cam footage of the incident and see absolutely no evidence of racism. We have always worked hard in Andalusia to maintain great relationships among our diverse populations.
What he's doing is attempting to inoculate the police department and the city from a discriminatory lawsuit because the why matters in the claim, the actual legal claim. And so what he's trying to say is, hey, I have a cop, he made a mistake, he's been disciplined, no racial discrimination, we're an open book. We tried to talk to Ms. Twyla. First of all, Mr. Mayor, is wholly inappropriate. She has legal representation. Why are you contacting her? Have you contacted the legal counsel? Which, by the way, is the proper protocol. According to attorneys, the incident began on February 23rd, 2024, when Ms. Stallworth called the police. She's the one that called the police, remember? Multiple times to complain about a neighbor, a white neighbor, who was playing his music too loudly. She got no response. Ms. Stallworth began setting off her car alarm in an effort to get the neighbor's attention to convince him to turn down the music. Kind of nuisance on nuisance situation happening. While the police failed to respond to Ms. Stallworth's complaints, they did, however, respond when the white neighbor called the police to complain about her car alarm. Frustrated because Officer Barton threatened to cite and arrest her for the car alarm, but did absolutely nothing to address her multiple allegations and complaints, Stallworth pointed out the disparity as Barton was returning to his car. Now you got to remember what happened here. The officer is literally going back to his car. Once she suggested it was racially motivated, okay, Stallworth is black while the neighbor is white. At that point, Barton returned. He turned around to the point of where he's on her front porch and began demanding that she present identification, even though he had not made any such request previously. That's when Stallworth's 18-year-old son starts recording the encounter on his phone. All right, now I want to clearly paint this picture. She's complaining about a neighbor. She's calling 911. Police don't come. She decides to go out, say, hey, neighbor, you see this car alarm? This is what you're doing to us in this community. Please cut it off. That neighbor calls the police. Police come. They respond to that neighbor's request to go and check on the neighbor, Ms. Twyla Stallworth. And as the cop threatens to cite her, he walks away. She then tells the officer how different she's being treated than the neighbor. Oh, that really makes him upset. He turns around, comes to a front porch, and demands her identification and then proceeds to arrest her because she posed a fact that you are treating me differently than you are treating my neighbor. There's more. All right, so here's Mayor Johnson refuting. Here it is.
In the video released by her attorney, Ms. Stallworth also claims that the police department has failed to respond to complaints she made against her neighbor. We also have reviewed internal evidence that shows that the police department has responded to those complaints. I have met with Andalusia Police Chief and other leaders in the department. We have agreed that the entire department will receive additional training in constitutional law, the laws of Alabama, and the ordinances of the city of Andalusia, so that we will not have an incident like this to reoccur.
Wait a minute, Mr. Mayor. I mean, for a police department to be so good and decent and sound and connected to community, you are demanding a whole lot of new training take place. Constitutional training, state of Alabama training, statutory training for city laws, what? I thought they were supposed to get that in the academy, sir. They are law enforcement officers. They are experts. They are to enforce the laws. How are they enforcing laws and they haven't been trained on them? Well, the reality is they have been, well, at least to the degree to do their jobs. The reality is they do not care. And so you talking about training is just a way to appease the masses. Hopefully they will think that's good enough for now. There's more. Attorney Daniel said of the incident, quote, never mind. The officer, Officer Barton, needlessly escalated the situation, forcefully entered Ms. Stallworth's home, and physically assaulted her over a noise complaint. Never mind that he arrested her for exercising her constitutional rights. And never mind that he misquoted a law that doesn't require a woman in her own home to present an ID. He was leaving. He was walking back to his car, ready to drive away right up until she called out his racism. Calling out racism is not illegal. Using your badge to intimidate a 40-year-old mother is, end quote. The Stallworth's son even questioned Officer Barton about the statute. Here it is.
Hey, dude, I wasn't attacking you, by the way. You know that, right?
You put your hand on my son. You put your hand on my son.
It's okay, ma. I understand. I understand that. You know, I wasn't attacking.
You good, bro? My son ain't do nothing.
I mean, that's a natural reaction. You know what I mean? Hey, dude, before you take her away, why are you taking her away?
She's right now. She's under arrest for failure to identify.
So is this actually an Alabama? Is this actually an Alabama state law?
That is not the law. That's against the law.
Because I wanna actually see this law in play in action.
Statute?
Yeah. Pull it up.
15530.
15530.
Yes, sir.
Law enforcement official can request your name, explanation of his actions. I don't see where it says anything about an ID. It says your name, address, and explanation of his actions.
She failed to identify, but ID.
I mean, it doesn't specifically, say an ID.
I know, but I'm not going to argue with you either. All right. Thank you.
That makes zero sense, dude.
Officer said, I know, but I'm not going to argue with you. See, he said, I know, but I'm not going to argue with you. 18-year-old says, makes no sense, dude. Young man, you did a remarkable job staying calm. I know that you were very fearful that something bad was going to happen to your mother during that encounter. I heard it in your voice. You did a remarkable job. I'm proud of you. I hope one day you become an attorney and you transform this system that has shown you its true colors. Now, here's the police chief, Paul Hudson, put him up. So the police chief on the left, Officer Barton, as of May 2021 on the right. Buck stops with them, but they're all spinning. Violated this woman's rights, illegally arrested her inside of her own home, cited a law that doesn't even exist. And they think 40 hours of community training is going to resolve this. No. They got the right attorney on the case, Harry Daniels. Mr. Mayor, this is a hell of a thing. You run a major city. You know exactly what the nuances are when it comes to liability, to discriminatory elements inside of city government. What say you to the mayor's response?
The mayor should be unelected.
Right.
The police chief should be fired and his officer as well. I don't believe in this idea that, people need to be trained up. You trained on what? Doing what's right, not being racist? His entire interaction, for that mayor to say that this is not because of racism, his turnaround, his entire anger began because of that. This is absolutely ridiculous. I would love to see a freedom of information request from their phone records, because I promise you, in this town of about 9,000 people that is 76% white, I promise you, this is not the only case, especially when you look. It don't take a lot of digging. 2015, 2005, 2020, all of them had county executives and other people acting in racist manners in this big community. So there's a pattern, of course, and we see how careless and nonchalant he was, not just about locking this woman up, but abusing her in front of her son.
And he knew he was being recorded the entire time. He knew it. Okay, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable stick and stay.
I'm wearing one of our pieces of merchandise. So the funny thing about the Dragon Squad, and that's what our viewers call themselves. That's the name of the group, but every individual chooses their own name. You might have Cincinnati Dragon. You might have Harry Potter Dragon. We have a Grandma Sunshine Dragon is one of those that I remember. These are people that like to have an element of themselves, their lives, what's significant to them reflected as a part of the community. But the concept of the Dragon Squad is just something I threw away as a joke. I was mocking the Proud Boys, these like right-wing groups that come up with a name for themselves that they think is cool, but it's actually really lame. And I thought, off the top of my head, I can come up with something that's still kind of lame, but much cooler. And so I threw out Dragon Squad, and I just moved on with my life. But everybody liked it, and so they kept it going, and so we've embraced it. And I think again, this was during the period of the pandemic. I think it was sort of nice to have a renewed sense of community, a feeling that you're a part of something when everything seems so chaotic. And as a result of that, we've got independent artists online streaming, making beautiful digital art of dragons. We've got, we've released a number of pieces of merchandise that people love sending us photos of them. And then, by the way, for me personally, people send me, like you can probably see in the background, like a knitted dragon someone sent me. There's a dragon book they sent me, dragon board games they send me. People have done like custom ironworks, making dragon bottle openers. Like the fans are super invested in diamond art and things like that. And so it's great that they send this stuff. Sometime we're gonna have to set up a wall of all of it. But yeah, it's definitely brought the community a lot closer together. The fact that we were no longer in this big studio, I felt a lot more personally attached to people. It felt very immediate. And I know that I personally needed the connection.
All right, welcome back. We got a lot of show left. Let me read just a couple of comments. I'm kind of pressed for time. Want to get a few in. Very interesting. Okay. Yep. Deck says you could not offer property for sale to a single group. Judge got this one wrong. Completely got it wrong, and said and basically cited, well, you don't really have a business relationship yet. But if you did, then there will be a different justification here. All right. So he's trying to say, yeah, you can do it. Because they were not engaged in a business relationship yet, which is completely wrong in my opinion. That's the complete wrong judgment. All right, and yep, I am shocked. This mayor sounds like Dr. Phil. Yeah. Okay. Trumpers pay money to attack Joe Biden punch dummy. Here it is. Put up the picture full mass. You think our biggest concern are undocumented workers? These individuals are literally paying money in order to commit violence against a proxy an imagery of the current United States president. I want you to imagine this in a different context. Let's imagine everybody being black. Let's imagine them being young. Let's imagine them not being Republican. They would say, oh, these are thugs. This is violent. This is uncivilized. Per the Kansas Reflector and the Kansas City Star, on Friday, attendees at the Johnson County Republican Party's Grand Old Party even physically attacked an effigy of President Joe Biden. After photos and video surfaced on social media, it prompted the state party's former chair to call for the resignation of the current leaders and call some Kansas GOP to distance themselves from what they're calling extremists who have seized control of the party. Extremists, in all due respect, they are the average Republican now. You have no party anymore. All you have is Trump. That's all you have left now is Trump. Nothing else. The numbers are very clear. All right, so the Biden bashing. Let's put him up full mass here. This is interesting. The Biden bashing antics were part of a fundraising event at the Overland Park Convention Center. Look at Ted. And also, disgraced former Kansas Attorney General Phil Klein were the main attractions. You don't get to fall down in the Republican Party, you fall up. The video posted by Mullen Lab Truth to the far-right social media platform Rumble shows highlights from the event, which also included karate chops to blocks that read, "Let's go, Brandon," code for a profane insult of Biden. The video, which has now been unpublished, shows several people at the event attempting to roundhouse kick to the mannequin bust with a Biden mask and "Let's go, Brandon" t-shirt. Another woman is seen beating the president's face with a foam bat. The Reflector notes Kansas GOP chairman Mike Brown, an election denier who narrowly won the leadership position a year ago, touted the fundraiser for weeks in official party emails with no mention of this mannequin. General admission was listed at $100, with a premier seat costing $300. In an email to the Kansas City Star, Maria Holliday, the chairwoman of the Johnson County Republican Party, said, quote, "This booth was hosted by a karate school to promote their self-defense class." I got to tell you something, madam. When I tell you, you all deserve an E for effort, the spin that comes from the Republican Party, just remarkable. I mean, damn, who would have thought of that? Let's have it being sponsored. Let's have it sponsored by a karate school. That way, when we go viral, we could just say, hey, it's for a karate school, self-defense. The incident prompted swift condemnation from both parties, who denounced it as political violence. On Saturday, former GOP chairman Mike Kuckelman led the backlash on his Facebook, where he called for the resignations of Brown, Holliday. He also alleged attendees were invited to beat the Biden effigy in exchange for a donation. Quote, "I've been a Republican my entire life, and I'm disturbed that anyone would think this is acceptable conduct," Kuckelman said. "As a Republican, we are all very upset, disappointed, angry. Apple, when they did that to President Trump, and we can't have a double standard." Well, sure you can. You're a Republican. You kind of live in a double standard scenario every day. Senate Democratic Minority Leader Dina Sykes encouraged GOP elected officials to condemn the incident. Quote, "Political violence of any kind is vile and wrong, and we cannot afford to brush it under the rug when others encourage it. If my colleagues in the legislature agree that this conduct is shameful and dangerous, they cannot turn a blind eye to this behavior. Their silence is consent." And madam, you are 100% correct. All right. They organized this. You got to think about what went into it. It's a lot of planning that goes into making something like this happen. They got to get the mannequin from somewhere, first of all. They have to set the booth up. People have to be in charge of collecting the money. Individuals are running this as a scheme. There's a system to get more money. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was posted intentionally. There was no gotcha moment here. They were proud of what they did until the audience, us people, responded adversely to it. This is what's in their hearts. This is what is in their minds. Mr. Mayor, thoughts?
I mean, the president name is not branded. We know exactly what they're saying.
Right.
The nastiness that is in that T-shirt, in that scuff. I mean, the idea that we are in a presidential election year with people already show they have the ability and desire to be violent, showing up to make a donation to beat the president is absolutely disgusting to me. And we shouldn't make small of this, especially when we see a rise in attack on elected officials in this country by the right. And we can't do bothism when we talk about this. It is distinctly the right that are attacking elected officials or trying or plotting to do so. And we've seen January 6th and we've seen what happened. There's a book that just came out recently. It's called White Rural Rage. And in that book, they talk about how white people, specifically those in rural spaces just like this, have a higher perchance to be racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and violent. And they are least patriotic, even though they own the most flags and T-shirts with flags on them. It does not matter what you say and how you show up, especially when you have this type of contradiction you're forced to deal with.
Yep, there you go. Well said. We shall see if condemnation actually comes from this or not. All right, I'm going to switch it up, producers, just a bit. I'm going to go to this Black Trumper. If I told you that there's a Black conservative Trump supporter who decided to come all the way from Japan to vote for Donald Trump and is now saying that basically all Black people are coming to the side of Trump, you will say, well, that sounds delusional. Well, here's who said it.
You can take a gun, shoot somebody in the face. It's not hard. Sometimes it might even be fun if they're a godless commie.
Now, what they're trying to do is sneak the COVID vaccine in your salads.
I hate math. Somebody say amen.
Back in 2016, I flew from Tokyo, Japan, where I live, to come back here to make sure I voted for Donald Trump. He's not your average politician. He's a guy that makes mistakes, that say things that are stupid, because we all do stupid things. We do crazy things. The Black community don't know what Donald Trump did for Black people. Trump is a business person, and I like the way he negotiates. You know, and he when we had him as president, we didn't have a lot. We had respect. America was respected. He is definitely looking out for the best interests of America. I mean, that is without a doubt. You know, I just hate that it takes Black people so long to even wake up to come around to it. For my Black people, read a little bit. Find out what Donald Trump has done for the Black community. He's done more than your Black Jesus, Obama.
There's actually more.
Ramon Arroyo on Fox News said that he thinks that the Black voters that like Donald Trump are because he likes sneakers. You know, that was Fox News sneakers. Saying it. Yeah.
Oh, because he came out with those sneakers and he slapped it in the judge's face and he slapped it in the liberals' face because they want to charge him $350 million and he made that back in less than an hour on sneakers. No, that's a smart man.
Let's talk about these indictments, 91 of them. All right, we got to.
You don't want to get me on that.
I do,
Please
I promise.
Don't get me on that. See, and now this is another thing that the Democrats has done. Now, have you noticed that every state that they basically want to indict him and all this and all that, Black women. Well, a Black man can't even say nothing to a Black woman without something happening. How's a white man gonna say something to a Black woman today without something happening? You can't call her a stupid. You know, you can't call her a B word. So they're using these Black people I mean, it's just like the Ku Klux Klan. They may as well we may as well go back to the Klan days. Donald Trump down there in just Georgia, think he gonna get a fair trial. He's not gonna get a good trial there. He's not gonna get it, this is all a lynching.
Put up the picture full mass. Sir, you would have made an excellent slave. I mean, listen, if you want to sign up for the job, I'm sure there are some people at that rally hiring. So an individual, we'll keep his picture up for posterity. An individual who will wear that kind of suit jacket with that kind of hat cannot tell me a damn thing about life. So this is a black conservative who kind of admitted to voter fraud. So if you don't live in America, you're not supposed to come here to vote. You say you live in Tokyo. I assume you don't have residence here then. But I digress. So you are telling people black folk need to read. Sir, are you aware that household median income dropped under Donald Trump? It did not increase. Are you aware that the college programs that would allow for first generation college students was gutted by this same man you praise as being a champion of black folk? Are you aware that discrimination, workplace discrimination, went up under Trump against black men in particular, black women by extension? Are you aware that the average earned dollar of black men and black women decreased compared to white men and white women of the same job, similar educational background set? That number was moving in the right direction with President Obama. It moved back in the wrong direction under Trump because his DOJ refused to hold those corporations accountable. So I think, sir, you need to pick up a book. Mr. Mayor, thoughts?
And if not a book, just take a plane back to wherever you came from and go back under the boat.
Let's go back to Tokyo.
Listen, go back to Tokyo. Listen, and even if he was a resident, and you had residence in America and you live in Tokyo, why did you fly here? You could have just mailed the ballot.
You really could have.
Any international people that vote internationally, you don't have to fly here. So the dumbness of your statement is just being shown, and you don't even know it. This idea that Trump made back his money. And it wasn't 384 million. It's more like 484 million in an hour is absolutely ridiculous. Is this the grandiose speaking that people like that are attracted to Trump because they like to do it themselves? Him and his pinky rings and his stuck in his 70s, I'm a pimp look. It's ridiculous. And I ain't see nothing factual in what he was saying. Waste of time. My blacks. You don't have any blacks. You or Trump.
Right. It's probably why you live in Tokyo. All right, Mr. Mayor, always a pleasure, dear brother, having you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you and check out your great work.
Yeah, Mondale Robinson everywhere on social media platforms, and I'm producing over on Rebel HQ.
We love it, dear brother. Thank you for all your leadership and all you do, man.
All right, peace.
Peace. All right, remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.